Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on the Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is giving our gifts. So we each have gifts that we come into the world with or that we've cultivated in our in the course of our lives. And rather than being apologetic for those gifts, what if those gifts are what we came here to give to the world? So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop. And allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And good morning, Rosalind. So good to have you joining us this morning. And welcome to everyone else who's with us. Today, we're talking about giving our gifts. And so many of us have a reluctance to shine. We don't want to draw too much attention, or we don't want to overshadow other people, and we're often apologetic for the gifts that we have, or we minimize them or contain them rather than expand and express them. And I remember a conversation with a client who is remarkably talented. Good morning, Dido. So good to have you joining us this morning. Yay. Welcome. So, where this person was very wanting to not be too bright a star, not to stand out, not to shine, not to, I guess, in some ways, not to draw attention to themselves and their being so exceptional. And we had this wonderful conversation, where they were feeling like they had to be apologetic in some way, shape, or form for the gifts that they had. And it occurs that the gifts that we're given aren't ours. They're not for us. They're given to us to give to the world. So if you're born, or if you have the gift of an incredible voice, is it appropriate to not sing because other people don't sing as well as you sing? Or is it appropriate to sing your heart out and share that beauty of your voice with as many people as possible to uplift them and uplift yourself in the process, to be that songbird, to be that unbridled expression of the gifts that we are. And I think that harnessing ourselves to mediocrity in the name of equity is nothing short of insanity. You know, we all have talents, we all have skills, we all have gifts that we came here with. And some of them have more of a public face than others. But we all have passions and our own quirks, our own idiosyncrasies, our own area of genius, and following those passions and expressing them and bringing them to fruition in the world is, in my hypothesis at this point, my belief, that that's what we came here to do. We each came here with our uniqueness, and it's that unique brilliance. It might be a sense of humor, it might be a loving heart. It doesn't have to be something that brings you fame and fortune and mass recognition. It can be maybe you're a gifted cook or a gifted crafter, or who knows what it is, but whatever your passion and your gifts are, I believe that that's what we came here to share. Like, we're each a thread in this magnificent tapestry, and we come with our own textures and colors and shapes, and we add to that tapestry in our uniqueness. And so rather than having our uniqueness be a brand, like a cattle brand, you know, like rather than having it be something that that pains us, or that we feel that we need to compensate for, what if we were to embrace those aspects of ourselves, those talents? What if we nurtured them? What if we gave voice to them, or or expression to them in a robust and unapologetic way? So one of the things that I notice is that it is often the things that we are teased for, or singled out in not necessarily the most positive of ways for, that is the source of our talent or our genius. You know, we might be told that, you know, you're weird, or you're this, or you're that, because of this thing that is the source of your real talent, your real essence, the essence of your spirit and soul and heart. And we're often not nurtured into that expression. Some of us are blessed to be in an environment that's supportive, that helps to call forth those talents. Others of us are punished for those things. And as we grow into adulthood, where we have more freedom to express these things, or to choose, maybe, we get to maybe cultivate that expression. Because what happens is that when we express the essence of our being and our souls, it opens our heart, it opens our life, it opens us into our potentials and an experience of fulfillment. And it's also a gift to the world. So the gifts that we're given are not ours to keep, they're ours to give away. And in that giving, those gifts enliven us, enrich our lives, as well as the lives of others. And maybe it's just within the context of a family or a community, or even a friendship, or even something that doesn't even look like it has an outward impact. But as we pursue our passions, even in the most subtle way, what we're doing by pursuing that passion is we're elevating the field. We're creating, and in creating, we are generating more creativity, like a field of creativity. And we are creators on so many levels. We create our reality in ongoingly. And one of the things that contributes most directly to depression, I think, is lack of that self-expression, is some kind of separation within oneself from that essential self, and maybe a deadening of that expression, because we're not connected to ourselves, we're not connected to our essence. When we cut ourselves off from that gift, when we don't pursue it, when we don't express it, what happens is that there's a dampening, a deadening, a numbing, a separation from that spark of life that makes us who we are, and that calls us into our own unique form of creation. And giving ourselves license for that creativity is the biggest gift that we can provide for ourselves. Not to mention that we can provide for others, because when we are fulfilled, what we put out into the world is an energy of fulfillment, right? And happiness and joy, and it gives us the ability to be contributing more in a positive way to the world. And so I encourage you to embrace your gifts, embrace your passions, be willing to give them the space and energy and time to express them as a priority. I don't know that there's anything more important in life to do. I mean, yes, we have obligations and responsibilities, but typically what we do is we put our passions on the back burner and we prioritize everything else. You know, it's more important to clean the house than to write the novel, for example. And is it really more important to clean the house after a point, you know, than to find the time to commit to our essence, ourselves, and our self-expression? And our gift and really engaging with that gift. It may seem selfish. It may seem selfish to, or indulgent, to indulge, in big air quotes, in our passions. It may seem like it culturally, we have lots of reinforcement for the notion that it's self-indulgent, it's maybe selfish, it's not realistic, it's, that culturally so much, everything else is more important than that self-expression, pretty much. But if we're looking to create a new world and we're looking to create a life that we love, then that can help us to readjust our priorities and to recognize that following those passions makes us more productive as humans. And it also is probably the greatest contribution that we can make, not only to ourselves, but to the world. So whether it's something very, very simple and seemingly private, or something that makes a big splash, the idea is to do what lights you up, to give your heart and soul to life's expression in its purest form. And we each come in with our we talked about a thread in the tapestry. We each have our own tone, like we're our own instrument in a great symphony. And learning to play that instrument, learning to weave that pattern that we are, is not only the greatest way to enrich our own lives, but it's the greatest way to serve the life that we're living. At least that's my belief. So Rosalind says, I'm aware that I'm detail-oriented and learning to hold off, only providing the pertinent info needed at the moment. Also, taking the audience into account. I explain a project the same to a vendor as I would to a staff employee. So interesting. Given that it sounds like you're detail-oriented and you're moderating your expression of that detail orientation. Say project, not the same. Got it. So Rosalind is saying, I don't explain the project the same to a vendor as I would to a staff employee, that you take different audiences into account, which makes total sense, being responsive to the audience that you're speaking to. And I imagine with your detail orientation, there's a certain gift to that, and finding ways to express that and enjoy that and indulge in that is a gift to yourself. Good morning, Kimberly. Wow, it's been forever. Welcome. So good to have you joining us. We're talking about giving our gifts, which is really underlying that is allowing ourselves to revel in our gifts, to really enjoy the gifts that we bring, the passions that we have, giving ourselves permission to cultivate those gifts and to share them in the world in whatever way. It doesn't, like as I was saying, doesn't have to be a big splash. It doesn't have to even be something that anybody else ever knows necessarily, but just being willing to express that uniqueness that we came here to express. And so, Rosalind, I am imagining that there are projects for you to engage in where you can really engage with the detail, the level of detail. And because you have that detail orientation, it equips you to better do certain things than other people that don't have that kind of insight, that kind of perception. And some of us have a profound gift of imagination and story. Some of us have a profound gift with aesthetics, or with language, or with detail, or with mathematics, or with cooking, or with, I mean, there's a multitude of things, a multitude of things. Some of us have a gift to sense into the essence of a situation. And I invite you to explore your passion, to explore, what are my gifts? What do I enjoy? What lights me up? And the idea is to light you up. You get to light you up so you light up the world. That's really what it's about, is we get to light up the world and not be apologetic for our gifts. Maybe not be identified with our gifts, because they're not ours. They're given to us to give away. Our gifts aren't about us. If I'm, which I'm not, but if I'm given an incredible singing voice, that's not something that I necessarily had control over, right? Or if I'm gifted with the ability to put words together as poetry that moves people, that's not about me. It's what I was given to give, right? So it's not about becoming identified with those gifts, but being able to receive them for ourselves. And in receiving them, we then get to give them. We then get to share them. And it doesn't mean that these gifts were just granted, that we didn't have to work to cultivate them and nourish and nurture them. And that is on us, because we have that passion to move forward, to practice, to work, to refine, but the thing is that we each have the gift of those passions too, that allow us the energy to contribute to that mission, so to speak. And I guess I want to draw a line between this notion of duty, obligation, responsibility. I don't want to cross into that. But I think maybe we can be looking at a path to fulfillment instead. It's not like you have this gift, it's your obligation to share it. It's not like that. It's more like you have this gift, and nurturing it, cultivating it, enjoying it, letting it light you up, and sharing it is a gift that you then can give. And in giving it, it lights you up further. It's kind of like love. Love is the gift that keeps giving. When we give love, we feel it, right? We get to experience it. And I think that that's the same thing with our gifts. When we dive into the expression of our gifts and the joy that they give us, then that in turn also lights up the world. So that's it today for today. Explore your gifts, discover your gifts, and give them to yourself that you can give them then to others. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to like, follow, and share Enlightened World Network and me. The links are in the description. And as always, it is such a gift to be able to share this time together and to have these musings together on what it is to be human. So until next time, so much love to you.